Welcome to Emuna, Our Future with Inclusive Unity. We're very excited to begin a special Tu B'Shvat class. Yes, we're here with our fruits and we have the opportunity to join you weekly live in the studio in Yerushalayim. It's a cold day, Tu B'Shvat, Geshmei Bracha. The rain is pouring. The energy is high, thank God, and we are beginning Emuna is Our Future with inclusive unity, an important focus as we go together to Parshat Yisro. We are climaxing Shovivim, Shuv. We already did the first part with Shin, Vav, Base, Shmos, Vayera, Bo B'Shalach. Now we are heading towards Yisro and Mishpatim. This is a special time for us to tune in to Kabbalas HaTorah, to receive a new chelik, a new portion in our holy Torah. And this Torah that we know is real and alive. It's Eitz Chaim, Hima Chazikim Bo. It's something that's real and live. It's not some theoretical argument. It's a real live Torah, a Torah's Chaim. Yeah, but Avos Chesed, this is a Torah that affects the world in a real way. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he created the world, he looked into the Torah. He looked into the Holy Torah to create the world, and that's constant. That's a constant reality we have to be aware of, that constantly Hashem Yisbarach, our Creator, our Rabbanu Shalom, he is constantly creating again and again every moment. Yesh Ma'ayin, constant revelation of creation, and we shouldn't take that for granted. Therefore, if we are tuned into these real truth, then we understand that there's a constant unification as well, because if Hashem is Echad, Hashem is one, then we are tuned in, and that is the specialness of these two parshas. Yisro and Mishpatim have within them the climax of also the 6 words of Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hashem Echad is the completion of Yisro, Mishpatim, of these 6 weeks, of the 6 words of Shema. We are getting into the unification of oneness of Hashem, and the key is to remember, since everything is created by Rabbanu Shalom, nothing would exist without being created. Therefore, it has a unification aspect of it, a unity flow, a divine energy that exists within all of creation, that we can attune ourselves, our souls, our beings, our understandings, our heart level, our emotions, and our reality, how we live in this world in a level that we are unified with everything, and therefore we can be inclusive to everything. Now, obviously, yesterday we had a wonderful share from Rav Shalom Moresh Shlita. He is our host in our beautiful studio, Chutz Chesed and Best of Israel, Best of English, in Yerushalayim, in the holiest place in the world. We are sitting in the studio, thank God, again for another week of wonderful classes. And yesterday's class was Shlomi Zions, an awesome example of unity, a person who goes around inspiring the world with being able to bridge gaps, growing up in a Hasidic home and being able to then go out into the world with true understandings of communication and what unifies us. As he mentioned yesterday in our Emuna class 56, already 56 classes. What an achievement. You guys should definitely check out the class. There was no music except at the end. We sang a little bit, but we did get, thank God, a little preview of some of his videos and some of the work that Shlomi's doing when he was in India. He's going to be hopefully partnering with organizations like Meaningful Podcast and Meaningful Minute. Thank God, Meaningful People. That's the beautiful idea, that by collaborating and joining together with organizations, this is already an insight to the unity, inclusive vibe that we are working on in our studio. We're constantly bringing in guests. Thank God this coming Sunday we hope to have Menachem Herman. He has been here in the past and we had a class on Mashiach. We're bringing him here again to bring us some rock and roll music. It's been a tough time for the musicians and the music people out there, the entertainment world and the hospitality world. So everyone out there should give as much encouragement, as much partnership to all those people in the music world. For example, Nissan Black has just, thank God, been able to make it again on tour. Initially we needed permission, and thank God we didn't need the permission because he was able to go straight to America and back. Hopefully we're planning on making a trip for Rav Orish as well. In February, people are reaching out now in Brooklyn, would you believe it, New York, to host us. Initially, we were planning on LA in January, but it looks like we'll be able to make hopefully 2 trips or even 1 trip, including LA and New York, maybe Arizona in the middle, try and do as many places as possible. We'd love to make it to the UK. Let's just hope this coronavirus and all the difficulties in the world just don't limit our ability to travel and be able to get the Rav to be able to come to you in person. Once again, it's people reaching out to wanting to host and make it happen. And that's, thank God, the person in Brooklyn is making it happen there, hopefully. And we hope in LA, or the people that have previously reached out will renew their invitation so that we can make it happen in February time. And a little bit of a delay, but that's all meant to be. And that's part of the unity flow, that we understand that everything is going to come together in its right time. One of the beautiful concepts of Tu B'Shvat, we are here today reminding ourselves we have these fruits, we have this shefa, that there's a constant life force coming up in creation through all the different aspects of creation. And that's the idea of the saraf, the sap, I don't know if anyone there wants to give me some words how to describe, but what goes through the trees, that life-giving force is giving forth now fruits and giving forth energy. Here's someone wrote here, thank you, Mary. Yes, we get people reaching out on YouTube, Facebook, people are watching, thank God. And we have our Breslev.com updated website. Thank God, finally, one of my videos, newer videos, is there. We need to get the Emuna class, all the different classes from Rav Orish to the QA up there as well. We're putting pressure on them to make that happen, the team downstairs. And we also, thank God, we have our Emuna podcast, which we're putting out every week, a few classes every week. Gedalia Fenster's included. And thank God, Rav Orish, obviously, and myself. And we have the opportunity to partner with other organizations, other opportunities. We have the Unity Flow podcast, my own personal podcast, Relationship Flow podcast. We want to include as many different organizations and themes as possible. Whoever has any ideas of different ways to partner, like it was such a beautiful merit to join together with a Meaningful People podcast. It was such a wonderful class that went out live last week and got so much positive reactions. And it would be amazing, as well as hosting people like Shlomi Zions, but to go out and do other collaborations, people like Peter Sanatella. You never know, maybe he'll come and visit Israel, Yerushalayim, and get to visit the Rav, visit Mir Sharim, visit the areas around here. And also to remind everyone that we are preparing this week for Kabbalah Torah. It's not a revelation that's just for ourselves. It's a revelation for everyone. And that's why all the work we do as Emuna Global is with that focus of Ahavas Yisrael, Ahavas people, Ahavas humanity, to love all people, to bring that inclusiveness to the world. Now, Rav Orish did mention, and I was about to mention it before, but there is a limitation with that. What does that mean? There's a rule that everything has boundaries. There's that balance that we need to always bring together everything we're doing. And that's very, very important to bring that together, that we're able to not only include people, but do everything in the right time. And my hope is, and my blessing is, that we're able to do it with Shalom, that when we include people, that it comes together in such a way that enhances people's lives, inspires people, and all the guests, all the music, all the inclusiveness of all the different styles of personalities is able to be relatable, and we put it in a way that it makes a difference to you, that really affects your life in a positive, empowering light. So my hope is, and my will is, that I'm going to keep focused, thank God, on my journey, on my purpose. And as the Rav said, the more we do the Ahavas Yisrael campaign, and that's why he's asking you all to send in your names, send in your prayers, keep doing the devotion to all of humanity, 20, 30 minutes, whatever you can manage, 10 minutes, some people, keep putting out those prayers on a daily level, and send us your names, and we can include it with the long list that the Rav is getting weekly, and thank God it's growing. And the idea is that it purifies not only the person praying, because they are now in a level of more tuned in to love of all people, but it purifies the world and the air around us, because now we're with people that are fully embraced, fully appreciated, and this is going to make a big difference. Now, I'm happy to say today that Nissim Black, for example, is in LA, and he's hopefully going to be visiting Academy over there, a school, and also NCSY, and it's a big merit. All these different organizations that partner with Nissim Black and his team, which I'm blessed to be part of, Unity Bookings, and I want to open the doors up for more opportunities. Thank God we have Shabbatons coming up and a concert in Israel. It'd be nice to do some private events here as well, but the ideal would be to make a large global event. For example, this week I want to just bring out some music updates. Zusha and Ishai Rebo did a collaboration. A beautiful example, once again, of unity and music, joining together different kinds of styles, and hopefully soon we're going to see a Zusha and Nissim Black collaboration. I've already heard a little bit of it, and there's also Yishai Ribo with Nissim one day. They've been talking about that. All the different kinds of styles and genres in music to bring it together, to bring more music. That in its unity, that power of bringing different styles together also brings different kinds of souls. And one of the beautiful things when we learn the Torah, and this year, because there's a leap year, so the parshas are more spread out, but usually when we bring parshas together, it's a symbol of bringing all the neshamas together, because inside the Osius, and this is one of the beautiful revelations that comes out in this week's parsha, that when we stood at Kabbalah Satorah, we stood at Har Sinai, we stood there receiving Hashem's will, the Esa Dibris, these 10 commandments which we've talked about already, these 10 revelations, 10 habits which I discussed in my Substack, I got it right, Substack blog over there. I've been putting out more and more content about the inner journey and about the 10 habits, and being able to tune into that light that Hashem's pouring into the real world through the 10 commandments and through these 10 habits that I was able to bring into practical life, that we have the ability ourselves to understand that the Torah is unifying the souls of humanity, united souls. And that's the concept that when we stand at Har Sinai, we have to be Ish Echad Lev Echad, the one human people, one heart, united together in a real way. And that's the kind of energy that we need. And thank God, when we're eating the fruits, we have to remember all the different kinds of fruits. But thank God we just make one blessing, very Priya 8, unless we're having a banana or something, or doma. The concept is that everything goes back to the root level. Everything goes back to this shorish. And that's one of the deep, profound teachings that we get from Rabbi Nachman and Rabbi Nosson as Yom Yoledet, Rabbi Nosson Yom Yoledet. We get this idea, this renewal of understanding the shorish, understanding the root level of creation has a connection point that connects everything together. When you go underneath, as we spoke about in my Substack post, the inner journey, in that place of soul, in the inner parts of the human soul, is that shorish, that root that unites us all. And that's the idea with the trees. We get that revelation of unity that exists within us all, that we're really all joined together in a deep, deep way. And our unity focus comes from going into that deeper level, to that source level, to that soul level, to that root level. And that will give us strength to understand that when you have strong roots in that place of unification, in that Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, you understand that the Am Yisrael are bringing that revelation yearly, not only at Kabbalah Satorah when we have Shavuos, but in the time of year that it took place, but also when we learn it and we read it in the shul, Parshas Yisro, this week's Parsha. And how does it connect to inclusiveness? The idea of Yisro. Yisro is the dogma of inclusiveness. He was a person who'd done every of the Avodah Zorah. He'd done every kind of other worship. You know, I can somewhat relate. I mean, thank God I wasn't that out there. I wasn't like in the ashrams or whatever, but I have friends who've done that and been in all kinds of locations. And I myself did, visit all the different religions before I became involved with my own personal journey of connecting to being a Yiddish neshama, being a soul that's connected to his shorish, which is a Jewish, with Yahadis, and understanding that once again that's inclusive, because what's the Nakuda? What did I discover about myself? I discovered the root level. And I want to mention today, and thank God I remembered before we finished this class today, that Arya Kaplan, whose yahrzeit was this week, was a very profound influence on me. Someone who was a big genius in the 70s, 80s, wrote unbelievable amount of books, and everyone out there should read at least one or two of his amazing books. For me, when I was in London, but I was also a student in university, I was searching, and I went to a place called Camden Town. Anyone who knows Camden Town is not the most religious place, but it's definitely a very spiritually centered place. A lot of people there looking for things, searching all different kinds of markets. I don't know what it's like right now, but when I was a kid, I used to go there and buy all kinds of alternative products and clothes, and if you know what I mean, yeah. Anyway, I went into one of these stores which sold alternative, spiritual wisdom books, and I had no connection to Judaism in that way. I never thought Judaism was spiritual. I had visited, I think by that point, Sfat, so I'd seen a little bit of spirituality up there in Sfat and then again in Yerushalayim, but I was only there for a short time. And I went back to university and I was around all the other religions, and everyone was trying to get me to join their group and their cult and their thing and this thing and that thing. And I would go into this store and every kind of religion's on display, every kind of spirituality. And there's also nowadays become very popular all these different kinds of witchcrafts and this and that. And I was looking around all the store and all the different spiritualities of Buddhism and Islam and that ism, and I see on the shelf Jewish meditation. I'm like, no way. It can't be that there's spirituality in my own religion. My own religion was boring, reform, deform, whatever you want to call it. It was a very like unspiritual experience. I don't want to speak not good about people, but just saying for me personally, when I went to these shuls, I didn't feel uplifted or elevated. I felt taken away from my time. That it didn't make any sense. I remember one of the last times I was in a reform shul, the girl was giving me an eye, she was checking me out. I mean, I didn't look like this, but I was a young teenager, and I was an older teenager actually, but a young adult, and she was checking me out, and I was thinking, I'm in shul trying to connect to Hashem, and some girl's giving me like that kind of energy and attention. It just didn't feel right. There was something off about it. And thank God, I even went to the rabbi's office there, and he had all the other religions on his table except anything Torah. And I was just like, wait a minute, this guy's trying to teach me about... So I went on that journey myself, thank God. And taking that book, The Jewish Meditation, I was like, I'm going to find spirituality my own path. I mean, some of the shuls I went to, even as a kid, I don't want to talk not good, but it was so lacking like energy and spirituality. I mean, hopefully things have changed and things are more energized and the rabbis and the community are more alive. But back then, for me, it just seemed like this cold experience. Maybe I was blocked, so I wasn't able to access it. I didn't really know Hebrew, so I didn't really know anything what was going on. And when I walked in, people were even judgmental to me because I wasn't so connected. I didn't really dress exactly how you should have. And I just disconnected from it. But then I have this book as a young adult, an older teenager, and I take it, Jewish Meditation, and I start to read it from Eric Kaplan, and I start to hear about this wonderful person and his journey into meditation and spirituality and Judaism, and that led me to the next books and eventually to Israel again, and where I got my first Tanakh and my first Mesilat Yesharim and my first Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. And as I slowly, and my heart was starting to open up to Shabbos, and I met the local Chabad rabbi in university and started going there for Shabbos, and then there was the JLE, so between the Chabad and the JLE and Aish and all the different groups, bit by bit, thank God, and then I came back to Eretz Yisrael to learn in yeshiva, and my journey continues until I'm sitting here 22 or more years later, thanks to Eric Kaplan's book. It lit a flame in me. Literally, it talks about it in the book. I remember it. I'll never forget. The concept of lighting a flame was something I was very into at that time. It's lighting a candle and singing or thinking about spirituality, trying to enter, and I had this book that had it from a Jewish source, that you can focus on the flame and all the different parts of the flame and Rabbana Shalom. And just like a soul, a Jewish soul is a lit, and that's why one of the reasons you might think when you're watching my class, I move around a lot, but the concept is it's from the soul. The soul's inspired. It's like a flame. It's flickering. It's flickering up to its creator, to its Borei Olam, to its creation. And that's the idea that Har Sinai, when we had the revelation, all our souls flew out. The Proch and Nishmasam, the souls flew out back to their source. And the idea is that Hashem put the souls back. Each of the Esther Dibras, the first two that we heard, Beferish from Hashem, Anochi Lo Yilecha, I am Hashem your God, and you should not have any other God. These two first commandments, our neshamas went out and became one with our Creator, because that's the truth. We're really one. We're united. We're inclusively united. We're including all the souls, and that expands our minds. For example, for a soul like me to be wandering around Camden Town, such a far-off place from any kind of Torah institution or anything like that, any of the religious associations. It was something a soul was searching, and I had these experiences also in the nightclub. I had the same kind of revelation, dancing in a place of ill repute, let's say, or even worse, in islands, these islands where crazy stuff goes on, like it's all about the nightlife. And I remember Hashem Yisbarach communicating to me through the girl that, whatever, I'm not going to get into the stories, but she was communicating to me as if Hashem was using her to wake my soul up and to remind me that I have a neshama, that there's bigger purpose for me. In such a place, I became alive spiritually. And again, in this bookshop, getting this Jewish meditation, in university, surrounded by everything but religion, everything but spirituality, everything but Torah. And I was able to, thank God, with a little bit I had, the Shema Yisrael and the Hine Matuv V'naim, the few Pesukim I remembered as a little kid, and a few little bits of light that I remembered, and the bits of tradition, I was able to inspire myself, thank God, with Hashem's help. On the beach, I came alive and had this vision of all the souls of the Jewish people in the world coming together, around in light and singing together. But it required of me, I knew this on a deep level, I had to come to Eretz Yisrael. I had to come to Yerushalayim to bring alive my Unity Inspires projects together with Tzaddikim like Rav Arush and together with the Messiah of Torah, to come together to bring it alive. So it shouldn't just become, God forbid, some dry religion. It should be alive. It should bring us, as we mentioned at the beginning, it should have chiyas. It should be relevant. It should be totally relevant on the deepest, most profound level. That should totally make sense of the reality we are in right now and all the challenges we're going through. They should guide us to how to live, how to function, how to elevate our worlds around us, how to bring not just our souls back to Hashem, to bring everything we encounter, our homes, our family, our friends, everything back to the Rebbeinu Shalom, to unify everything in a spiritual level, an uplifting, a level of love and truth and revelation. And this is the Kabbalah Torah, so that when you have a world which seems to be so technologically focused and so focused on my own success and so focused on power and greed and all these kind of negative things that seem to be so profoundly strong on the internet and on the content that's out there, comes a soul, a Yiddish soul, comes a soul. Just all its purpose is to just remind us that Hashem Yisbarach, the creator of the world, revealed himself to the world and wants purpose and wants direction and wants unification. So it's an inclusive unification. So for example, a guy like me back then goes into shul with long hair and earrings and people include me. They bring me close. And the Rav Arush was mentioning yesterday, he comes into the shul and unfortunately they pushed him away because he wasn't dressed the right way. But his path is to bring close, to show Avos Yisrael, to bring close all the different people and bring them back to their Creator, back to their Father in heaven. And that's the idea, to understand that this is inclusive. The Torah is inclusive. The truth of creation is inclusive. And if it doesn't have a power to include someone, then it's up to us to figure out how to make it more inclusive. We have to be proactive about this. It's not going to be something which is just going to happen just by itself and we're just going to wait and Mashiach will come and save us all. No, we have to be proactive. That was the whole idea of the Babitcher Rebbe. He became Rebbe all those years ago on Yud Shvat. We just went past that. And he was empowering his Hasidim. Carry on my work. Bring Mashiach. Don't just wait for it. Make it a reality. And that's up to all of us. That, if it wasn't for those Chabad Shlichim and campus and all those places that I went to back then, maybe they were the ones who put this Jewish meditation in that bookstore in Camden. I don't know how it got there, but it was people being proactive that made the difference. That it gave people like myself the ability to reconnect to my shorish, my root level, to my soul level, so that I understand that I'm not just in this world to have a family and to make money, but I'm in this world to experience the soul level. And that's the idea, the inner level of Tu B'Shvat. It's understand that inside the trees, the life force is coming, and it's bringing chiyas and energy, so that we get to Shavuos, we get to Kabbalah Torah when it happens in time, and we have the Yom Tov of Peiros, of fruits. That when now we have the new year of fruits, and the judgment of fruits is coming, of Elanis, of trees, that's coming out in a revealed level on Shavuos. We're already now eating the fruits on a revealed level, where it's now manifesting and things are growing, and we're getting ready for Sukkot, which is later that year, where we're bringing Asaf to bring together all the Haga Asif, to bring together all the different kinds of fruits and harvest. These special times, their root level comes in Tu B'Shvat. That's all decided right now on the inner level, what kind of esrog you're going to get, what kind of fruit, and that's the heart level. The esrog is the heart of the Daled Minim, of the four species we take on Sukkot and shake and do the Anuim and all the different directions. This is the heart level. The esrog represents the Tam Chochem, the Tzaddik, the one with Tam and Reach. He has flavor and smell. This is the idea that the mitzvahs and the Torah are alive with them. It's a fruit that represents chiyas and energy, and it water that gives it nourishment. Torres Chaim is also connected to water, and this Geshmei Brocha that we're receiving right now during Shvat, this Deli, this big shefa, a bucket full of water that's pouring on us day after day in Israel, thank God, in the Holy Land. And it's a blessing every day that it pours, every day that it rains. Anyway, we'll sum up. We're here to include people. The Torah, like we said, it's Torah's Chaim. It's to give life to the world. It's to give life to all the souls of the world, to give life to humanity, to remind us that we have a purpose, that we have a tachlis, we have a reason we're created, we have a unification, we have a source level that brings us purpose, it brings us dedication. And it's very important that all of us are able, on a real level, to live and experience that. and to bring it even to the online world, which seems so far from Kabbalah Satorah, where, like, as they call it, Yeridas Adoris. But the truth is now, as Shlomi mentioned yesterday, Shlomi Zions, he gave us that inspiration, reminded us that the internet is a revelation for us to use to empower unification, to bring more unity online, to not let the negative voices out there constantly make more arguments, more divisiveness. We have the power with the Torah and with truth and with spirituality and the soul level to bring that online, to bring it through our classes, that you guys are going to share. Please God, you guys are going to comment. You guys are going to give feedback. You guys are going to like and give love and make it bigger and grow it globally. We're going to keep working. People like Shlomi, myself, even more so the Rav of all his wonderful books and classes and institutions. We're going to keep growing this path. And, I myself want to write a book. So as Shlomi wants to write a book, we've all got to write our own book, because every person in himself has in him his own book, his own song, his own chelik Torah, his own portion of holiness, of Torah and spirituality that nobody else has. It's a unique message that we have to bring out in a real, authentic, sincere way, and to remind ourselves that even with the boundaries, even with the right Gevula, just like they were at Har Sinai, not everyone could go up to the mountain like Moshe could, but to remember, even though there's these boundaries, that it's boundaries that inclusive, all the different souls, include all the people that, as I always say, people are off the derech, they're off the path. But the key is to make the path much bigger, to expand the path, to don't allow it to be so constricted or so restrictive, to bring out the rachvus, the expansiveness, the true expansiveness of soul and spirituality that includes souls and brings out the neshama and pushes away all the pasolis, all the negativity that they seem to be covered with or seem to bring with them, that it's not really who they are. It's not really who I am. I'm really a soul, and I need to remind this myself when I sit with my kids, my parents, my children, to remember that my children are just examples of this soul level, and they are beautiful souls, and I have to bring that out in them, and I have to bring it out in my relationship with my soulmate, bring it out in my relationship with Rabbonim or Tzaddikim that we're blessed to have. Ravosh, to remember to come again to our Emuna class with Menachem Herman this week. Class 57 is the Rosh Tevis of Gan and Zan, which is the idea of Panasa. Zain Nun is Zan, is Panasa. Hashem bring us new Shefa, new Bracha, and we have, please God, the 58th class. Shefa himself is coming, a band from Sfat. They're coming special for that next Emuna class. And then, like we said, we might be going to America. Possibly we have Liron Mazur still wanting to come. Judah Michelle would like to organize at some point. We have a band called From the Waterbury Boys, interested to come. Maybe Rav Olofsky, you never know, with them, because one of them is an Olofsky. We'll see however Hashem decides this next few weeks goes. But I thank God we've got in preparation already a lot of good Emuna classes together with the Rav and all that we're doing here. But it's up to you guys to get it out there. I can only put it out and promote as much as I'm able to. It's up to you to share on your networks, to get the revelation of Torah, the revelation of Pasha Yisro, that the unity, inclusiveness is there, but it's up to us to include others, to make it grow, to expand it. And I wish everybody a beautiful rest of the week, a beautiful Shabbos, happy Tu B'Shvat. Enjoy the fruits in your life. Enjoy all the peiros. Give shevach to Hashem Yisbarach. Give praise to Hashem. Thank all the people around you who work so hard to make these things happen. These classes, these beautiful peiros. It's not just whatever that things just appear in your house and you're able to eat, or in the shops and you're able to buy them in restaurants. Say thank you. Be appreciative. Have a meter of a koros hatov. Say Todah Hashem. And with that, we'll be zocheh, please God, with the ultimate revelation of Hashem Yisbarach, of unification, where everyone will be included. All the souls of the world will have a place in front of Hashem Yisbarach in the creation of the world, to humble ourselves and to be one with Hashem Yisbarach in a true way, in a real way, in a way that inspires change and inspires growth. And like a tree, we just grow and grow and bring out so much beautiful peiros into the world, beautiful ma'asim tovim, mitzvahs, acts of kindness, acts of goodness. And you can partner to do that all the time, every week. There's always a link to partner, Emunalive.com. Join us, and please God, we'll be zocheh to Mashiach Sakenu, the Binyan Bayis Shlishi. We're going to hopefully have this year Pesach in the base of English. We'll have Korbanos. We'll be able to experience the full revelation with all its oneness that comes together with such a reality of the third temple, what that means. We'll discuss that more in coming weeks, please God. Join us again next week in Emuna class. We're going to talk even more practical, and hopefully it will just bring us to even more oneness and love. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of the week and a healthy rest of winter.